Welcome to Gylee and Friends, the podcast where you hang out with game devs and hear about our pixelated shenanigans. Gylee is currently in production on Raw Raw Boom, a 4-player co-op beat 'em up about Ninja Cheerleaders from Outer Space. Please go wishlist it on Steam. I'm your host and founder and CEO of Gylee, Chris Bergman. And as always, I have my wonderful co-host and senior producer at Gylee, Kim Edwards. Hello, Kim.
Hello, Chris.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Oh, you're great?
You know
had to
why I'm
one-up
great?
me? No, why? Oh, gosh. What are you wearing? What's going on with that?
It's draft day, baby. So the first pick of the NFL draft will happen tonight. I'm very excited and hoping that the Bengals choose an offensive tackle. We will see.
Are you doing another league this year?
Oh, we're definitely doing a league this year.
No, I meant you. This is not a we thing. I'm not doing it again.
You have to do it again.
No, that's $100 waste of my money.
All right, that's fair. But you should do it again anyway. Kim.
Yes.
We have a great guest
We have
today.
a great guest.
I've known this man for quite some time. His name is Denver Coulson. And Denver is a lead gameplay developer and co-founder of Gylee Games.
What?
Crazy.
Crazy.
He received his Bachelor's of Science from Miami University and his Master's of Game Design from the NYU Game Center, prestigious NYU Game Center, if I may. He's made 84 games.
That's crazy.
That was a lot of games, including Pocket Run Pool with Zach Gage and Tuned Out with Ben Soranko and Missy Centillo. Missy, sorry if I said your name wrong. His work has been celebrated at international platforms such as Indiecade, at GDC, and has been featured in top publications like The New Yorker and Polygon.com. Please welcome Denver Coulson.
Welcome, Denver.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, buddy.
Long time no see.
Yeah.
Man, who knew this existed?
Yeah.
I think I would know, but oh well. Here I am.
It's been like we waited too long to get you on.
Yeah.
You should have
You're
been
kinda
close to
busy,
guest number
too.
one.
It's my own
but
fault. Yeah, we had some milestones.
Yeah, we had a few things
We had
going
some
on.
milestones.
Yep.
Sure did.
Yep.
Yep. How you been, man?
Good. Yeah, I mean, gosh, my default is always busy, but
Yeah.
good busy. Like we've been doing a lot of good work on the game. A lot
Yeah.
of cool things, getting into like some of the final polish, cleaning things up. You know, the things that have been bugging me for like 3 years now, I finally get to fix.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's cool.
you.
that's pretty nice.
Yeah. I had a friend come and play test this morning who I think had played it like 3 years ago or something.
Uh-huh.
Like art change.
Oh man, yeah.
And he was like,
That's a whole different game.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, holy shit, this is like I want to go buy this right now as it is. You know what I mean? It was so
I
cool.
love that.
It's like I want my kids to play it. You know, there's a lot. The family stuff is
Yeah.
real, man. Playing with your family is cool.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show.
Yeah. thanks.
We're happy to have you, and let's get into some questions.
All right, let's do it.
Awesome. Okay. So, because I know this story, but I want to hear your version of it.
Okay.
Dan, how do we meet?
Oh, okay. Man, so GDC 2012.
GDC is Game Developers Conference, for those who may not know that.
Yes. Not at the conference itself, though, because that's not where any of the good things happen at GDC.
No one goes to the actual conference.
Yeah, you go like the first 2 years, and
Sure.
then it's like, all the things around the conference.
Yeah,
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
So I was at the time working on a Kickstarter. I was trying to get my game at the time, Super Trip, funded. It was just a riff on kind of geocaching, but digital. So it would just give you random places you had to explore. In that, I was scrounging for money. That's honestly what I was at that time.
I know that feeling, man.
That's
Every game dev ever.
Yeah, so I was at the W, felt like the best place to be for that evening.
Yeah.
Just making my round kind of table to table, talking about my game, and then got approached by an old partner that I'd worked with. What was that? Indie Pub at the time. He mentioned...
It was Rob Cassidy, right?
Yeah, Rob.
Did you ever
yeah.
work with him?
No, I didn't work with him, but I know who he is.
Okay,
yeah.
Yep. So randomly ran into Rob. Didn't know he was there. And he was like, I want you to meet my CEO. So walk over, brings me up to Chris. Chris is probably a couple drinks in.
It's like 1 or 2 a.m.
So maybe more than a couple.
And I like, I'm sure some of you do this, but like 6 p.m. comes around and it's like, all right, W bar, and we're not moving all night. Like, this is where it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I immediately on the spot is like, so what are you about? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Gave you my 1 minute elevator pitch.
Yeah.
And
For Super Trip. Yeah.
Yep. You pull out your phone. You're like, where's this at? Scroll all the way to the
This
bottom.
is when I had way more money, by the way.
Okay.
We were
please,
flush
don't do
at the
this
time.
now.
Yeah.
But yeah, scrolls to the bottom, chooses my highest reward backing at that point, and yeah, that was
Wow.
a huge part of the funding that came in.
That
for
got
that
it
game.
over the hump, right? If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, that was why I did it. I think was to get it over the
it
hump.
was huge.
And,
So
and not the drinks.
it was we celebrated afterward.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was that was a pretty.
So we met in
eye-opening
San
moment.
Francisco, and we live in Cincinnati.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
just so we knew,
Isn't that wild?
I think of each other in some way, but
Sure.
like, no face to the name or anything
Yeah,
yet.
right on. Yeah.
And yeah, no, it's been ever since. It was like, yeah, I want to make a game company with this dude.
Yay.
Yay.
It took a bit, but we did it.
We did do it.
Yeah.
We're doing it, man.
We are.
So after that, because this happened after, you ended up going to NYU Game Center.
Yes. Yep.
What, like, can you kind of explain to everyone what that process was like, what it was like being there, and then what it was like to like spend every day with guys like Frank Lance and Bennett Foddy and that whole crew?
Oh man, yeah. So I know the name NYU can mean something for people for like why they would go to that program, but that is 100% not what that program's about. It is not the name. It is so much the people,
Yeah.
the professors there. Frankly, maybe in my naivety, I did not know much about NYU at the time. I just quite literally, like, I had been in talks that Zach had done. I'd seen Frank a few times. I'd seen Eric Zimmerman, Bennett Foddy.
Was Zach Gage a professor there?
He would no, so he was. I just knew he was in the area. He went to Parsons, I want to say.
Okay, right on.
But he had done some.
Also,
No,
our name drops are like hot already.
Yeah.
But this is all Denver doing it.
I'm not counting them.
This is Denver.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he was a visiting professor at one point.
Okay,
So
right.
I think that's why the connection was there. But I also knew that he was like they're a close knit community out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, from seeing a lot of what they did, they're some of the few people who I see looking at games not just as video games. They're looking at it holistically, from big games, sports, chess, chance, casinos, and video games. Like, all of those are kind of the school of thought in NYU. Is those are all games. Those are all part of the study of game design. So for me, that was like, it was profound to be able to just kind of live in that and like connect with people who had that, like I'd always thought about games in that way, but never really got to appreciate it for that long, like people who understand it the same way. And that was great because they've been thinking about this for like some of them 20, 30 years. And to be able to just hear from them and learn from them was it was magic, frankly. I loved it while I was there.
That's cool.
What do you think are like some of the big takeaways that you took from them specifically, and how you approach your because you're a game developer, you're a game designer, but you're like I mean, truly, when it comes to any amount of gameplay decisions in the game, they're much more yours than mine, right? But then you are able to go and implement those choices.
Yeah. So I think one of the big takeaways I took out of that program really came out of what is the in the moment experience of your player and what are the rules allowing them to explore that you couldn't otherwise do in the real world. So like the common language around that is the magic circle. When you step into this world, there's like you kind of put aside reality and you can explore something that is not you, right? Like the most stereotypical to that would be LARPing. Like, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna be a knight and play this. But like it goes beyond that,
Foam
right?
swords, baby. Yeah.
Yep. But to take it another way, like to the football field, you don't end up with Ocho Cinco doing a front flip into the get a touchdown without the rules of football to do that, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just watching synchronized dancing. But instead, you're allowing the rules of the game to create these really interesting moments to explore from not just as a player, but as an audience member. Like it only exists because of these rules that lay out goals. And in my opinion, the goal doesn't really matter most of the time. It's way more about that in the moment experience, right? Like if you're at a football game and it is 32-0, it's a boring game. No one is interested in watching
Either
it.
way, it's a
It doesn't. You could love the winning team, but it's
Yeah.
like, man, like I didn't want to win this well.
much, yeah.
Like,
Dude, Frank taught a game design class at GDC that I went to, and I hear him saying what you're saying. Like I know exactly what you're about to say.
yeah. It's so a lot of that, and this is where my thesis was all about, is the well played game. Not actually by anyone in that program, but Bernie DeCoven, sadly passed away a few years ago after my time there. But he was a mentor on Tuned Out when we were working on that, which is like was a whole game about like we're gonna just throw you in these different rules, these different games, but like if there's something frustrating about it, you just change the channel, play a new game. We wanted to entertain the space of like find the fun always. Like don't anytime the frustration hits, like fight it. And so I think my philosophy in games, which definitely is in Rah Rah Boom, really comes from that. Like it's always about making sure from the parent who's playing Rah Rah Boom to the kid that they're both having fun. Because I don't want anyone to feel like they signed up for something that they're just not enjoying.
And that's a sticky wicket, like finding that, because that's a line of approachability and complexity that's really difficult to kind of nail.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, and I feel like you've done that well with Rara in particular.
Yeah, it took us a bit.
Took
a
us
lot of
a little more than a
prototypes.
bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you make games?
Oh man. I think really just for sharing experiences with others. I think some of my favorite games I've made, so like one of my favorite things to do is like demo games, be there hands-on with them and watch them play it. So everyone loves to be present, be with others, have a new experience, things like that. I've really come to love crafting that. So growing up, I would always like, on the playground, like make up rules to new games and things like that. Very quick.
Not like while you're playing, right? Where you're like, no, you're cheating.
No.
I have a new rule.
Probably at one point or another.
I could see that.
I could see that.
I could see that.
As I got older, I was like, okay, let's craft it beforehand.
Yeah.
But then eventually, like, really started kind of leaning into, like, how can we riff on this to just like be more interesting in the space we're playing? I don't know, like, think about like the playground and like this playground's more of a castle, so like how do we make this more castle themed for like playing tag? Like, oh, let's actually make it about like a sword fight whenever you're about to get tagged, stuff like that. That's primitive level of like thinking about like sharing experiences, but I wanted to formalize that further into like, well, how do I embed like life and experience or just purely like joy, like something that like I think will just leave someone happier at the end in something. And I think that is, for me, games are the most interesting at that because you don't actually know what experience they're going to get at the end. Like you set around the rules and the formalism around it, but then what happens with that, you don't know.
Like
and that's
the emergent narrative.
yes,
right?
yes, very much. And that is the most exciting part for me in about games. So yeah, I just like, regardless of it being a video game, a board game, a big game, like I love exploring all of those types of games. Now, realistically, like in terms of like where I think I'm best at in that, it's been video games, and that's why I primarily make video games.
Love that.
We do, as a team, like to play board games with you because you're like...
God, you're the best person to play board games with,
honestly.
dude. Seriously.
If it's a very comprehensive game, especially, we'll be like, wait for Denver. We
Complicated's the word you wanted there, but not comprehensive.
Well, there's just a lot to it.
It's interesting you say that, because the reason for me is I'm thinking so much about how do I make sure the intent of this designer makes it to the players that I'm with.
Yeah.
Without the friction.
Ooh.
Like, board games are real hard to get past that friction it's almost, you're playing the first time and you don't have someone like me who's played it before. It's like the third or fourth time before it's like, oh, I can finally get the intent.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I got to tell you something offline about another one of our projects and who we might be able to get to help.
Oh, yeah?
Are we cutting this? What are you doing?
No, we can keep it in. It's fine. Yeah.
Oh.
Just like side note. But
side note.
Anyway,
Cool.
yeah, when we have like anything that might be a little bit cumbersome, but we really want to play and learn it, we're waiting for Denver because it will be fun if he gets here.
Well, you just have the patience.
Yeah, you do. We don't. We're not. You're like, okay, hold on. Byline C -1 set, and we're like, oh, okay, cool. We'll do this. We'll do this. I don't know. He knows the whole freaking playbook before we've even started. I appreciate that.
I try. You need good DMs.
Facts.
Jesus. Yeah. So you've made 84 games. It's a lot of games.
Yes.
Which one? And you can't say rah.
Okay.
Which one do you feel was a turning point in your career, and why?
I'd have to say UDLR, just because it was like a key moment in my growth as a game designer. At the time, I was really interested in synesthesia and like, how could I experience it? How could I go through that myself?
Which is like like you have visuals connected to like sounds, I think specifically in synesthesia, but like just the idea, the concept that like color can be attached to something else.
Yep. Yeah. So like you see something or you hear something and it like just clicks something else in your brain.
Yeah.
And I was really interested to see if there was a way I could like train myself to like learn that. So UDLR, up, down, left, right. Yellow was up, green was down, blue was left, red is right. And it was just about trying to hone in on that experience. And also just create something, at the time on iOS was like itchy at the time. Like Pop the Lock was like a big thing at the going around, and I felt like it was in that same avenue of space.
I just wanted to pour a beer with my iPhone. Do you remember that one?
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
Guys.
We all
Watch.
thought we were so cool with our iPhones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I was working on that, which taught me a lot about getting a game to market fast. Wouldn't necessarily say it was
Can you bring some of that expertise into our studio now?
I'm trying.
I can't.
So that was a big kind of turning point in terms of my game design path, to tying like my software experience into something that like would connect it with others. And that's kind of like how I got into my whole experience design kind of philosophy. From that, it was Rainbow Disco, and that was the one that's a record player board game that I made.
Wait, but what did that do? What did that game do for you? Like, why was that the turning point?
For UDLR?
Yeah.
For UDLR, that was, I think, the first game that I made, got through to release, and nailed the design intent I was looking for and the timeline I was aiming for.
Sure.
That was solely a summer project only.
What?
Where's this timeline expertise now? Sorry.
Yeah, I very strictly only gave myself 3 months for that. It was,
Really?
Yeah, it was between. It may have been. It was the year right before I met you, Chris. I think, because it was between my sophomore and junior year of college.
Okay.
That was when I put that together.
When you hanging out with Glenn?
Yeah, I was still. I was. He was my professor. Not yet.
Okay.
Hung out with him after.
Ooh, that gave me. I just thought of a shenanigan that I want to talk about later. Keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that was
writing
the
it
piece
down.
that like for me was pretty profound. But like from a career perspective, the one after that being Rainbow Disco, which I co-designed with Ben Saronko, also does a lot of gameplay design for us.
He's a good homie.
He's amazing.
Yes, he is. Yes. But we worked on that game, submitted to GDC, and that is a record player board game. The premise is you have to, the record player is spinning and you have to put pieces on it without them falling off. It's almost like
was that a part of the control all like the
we tried, but it didn't get into that
the
one.
alternative controller
It
thing?
is it could have been. We went more the big game route of just like at GDC they had like an open big game event of
sick.
like a ton of just like, so alternative control games were there as well.
Yeah.
But not like the GDC piece is like digital control, and we didn't go that route.
Got it.
Like ours was more of like a reconstruction of Jenga. Like it was Jenga on a record player, because at the moment you had a piece slip, everything flew off the record player.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, and then to make it.
Can we play that?
Yeah,
in the
I was just gonna
offices?
ask.
Yeah,
Can
we
we still
definitely
play
could.
that?
I got. What was super weird we learned though is it is so hard to find pieces that will stick to a record player.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
We went through like 30 different board games, and it ended up being a game called Tribond. That was the piece that works. And the
Yeah.
game's, I'm sorry if they're listening, but it's not a good game. But the piece, perfect. Bought every copy I could get on eBay.
Now they know what the influx in sales was.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
awesome.
And then why was that a turning point? That game.
That's why I couldn't afford NYU.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I always wanted to, like, that program excited me so much, but the dollar amount was just, I mean, it's no small thing. Like,
Yeah.
and the life experience is profound. You know, if you can do it, I highly recommend it. But do you need to? No. Like, you can make games outside of needing to be through a formalized program. It can help you discover yourself and the type of games you want to make, and like what about your fit is best. But you can also get at that by just being solid
Test
at
and learn.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, for me, I was like, this is maybe the faster route to get to that, but
Yeah.
it's not needed.
Well, as you know, millions of aspiring game designers and developers watch this show.
Of
Millions.
course. Yeah.
Millions.
And
Hello, millions.
That's why we have so many sponsors,
So many sponsors.
right? What advice would you give an aspiring game developer or designer that's like, college level, kind of trying to figure it out?
Finish a game, completely finish it, give it to your players, have them play it, and have no excuse for why it's not complete at that point. You need to finish your projects and see them in the world and not be happy with them and do it again and again and again. Because the biggest issue that I would say all aspiring game designers typically have is thinking that their first idea or their second or third or fourth is like the gem that they have to hold on to forever. Because the reality is like it's never going to see the light of day. Then.
That baby.
Yep.
And the players are going to play it for a week anyway, and it's done. Like, no matter
Yeah.
what. Like, even if you have a great game,
Yeah.
it's going to
it's
exist
true.
in the world for a week. Like, it doesn't last long, man.
Yeah. So if you had to get granular, one of the things we did, so probably my favorite class at NYU, so ran by Bennett, was Game a Week. Had to given a random concept at the beginning of the week, and you had to finish it, and we all demoed it the very next week.
It's
That's
like a weekly game jam.
fun.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And I decided to add a little extra undue pressure on myself, and I made sure all my games were able to be played on the web, and I released every single one also on the demo day.
Oh my gosh.
And that was huge for me. Like that was also a huge kind of flip, because like all of a sudden I was getting like regular followers on all these games, just playing them, getting feedback, and then like, but I couldn't
this
go
is when he
further
got
with
famous, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
yeah. So it was finish your games. That's what I'm getting at.
That's cool.
So like I meet a lot of aspiring game designers that have no technical ability at all. Have never even opened Unity, right?
Yep.
But they're game designers. Me being one of I've opened Unity, but me being one of them.
Well, you've found a different outlet.
Right. But like, what would you say to them that are that fear of, they want to be in video games, but they just want to like pen and paper everything.
Yeah, so I mean, pen and papers.
Also, this is a real genuine. This isn't a podcast question. Like, I'm curious about your take on it. I mean, it's in the podcast. You get what I'm saying.
Pen and paper design in video games is challenging to not go further with, and I think that's especially harder with students who are in college right now because the tools are so accessible. I would argue that if you are trying to get into video game design but you have not started coding or trying to write code, that's going to hold you back significantly, if not be a complete stopgap for most of the industry, because there are plenty of designers who can do that, which allows them to communicate better with the entire team. Now, it's not required. You can go without it. Like, the best area to start if you're a pen and paper person is board game design, big game design.
Yeah.
Like, you got to have and at that point you need a large portfolio showing like mastery of that. The challenge is, how do you pivot that to a video game if that's ultimately your goal, where you're going from kind of organized interaction to real-time interaction and simulation. So that's where experiences can kind of get harder to prove that you can make that shift.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right, last question.
Okay.
As a co-founder
Mm-hmm.
of Gylee Games, nice company, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Great name, by the way.
Yes.
You chose it.
What?
Did not choose it.
Definitely did not choose it.
What would mine be if I?
What would it be?
Yeah.
Dal.
No, he
It's still
doesn't have.
Dalton because it's Corbin and Dalton.
Yeah.
It's Dalton.
It would be Dalton. Yeah.
Dalton gets it all.
That's amazing. Or Dalt Corb.
Corton.
Corb on the Dalt.
I mean, it doesn't have to be your kids' names either.
Well, if you're lazy, it does.
The riff.
Anyway.
As a co-founder and lead dev, how would you describe your leadership style?
My leadership style, I try.
This might be a better question for Andrew.
How
to describe
Denver's leadership style?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that you're not wrong.
Yeah,
Knowing from who's like,
Yeah.
I lead, they're going to be the best answer to that.
Right.
I can correct you after you
Oh,
answer.
yeah. I think my leadership style is primarily through the lens of teaching and guiding that teaching to direct results. So like kind of to the end I was just talking about, like on games, and like my teaching philosophy is like complete it, get it done. It's the same thing in the business. Like you're going to be given challenges, things you don't know how to do, and that's okay. I will help you along that route as much as I can. But you gotta work through it, and you gotta struggle, and I'll be there, right? And
put the effort in.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where I think I do pretty well, is I push really hard for everyone to know, like, time box 15, 30 minutes, struggle through the problem for a bit, and if you can't get there, bring me in. Mm-hmm. And it's not because
and talk to a duck.
Yeah,
yeah,
yes,
definitely
rubber
talk
duck
to a
it.
duck. Yeah.
Always rubber duck it. Yeah, because like quite often you learn by doing, but you can get shortcuts through your peers. But the best way to get those shortcuts is to have struggled through it. If it's just handed to you at the beginning, it means nothing. Like you didn't actually learn anything there. If it's afterward where it's like, I couldn't do this ticket and I had to hand it off to him, or I had to call Denver to bring him in to understand what's going on here, and then I get it, like that's where I think I've been able to embed the best growth in I don't know, my team members.
Dude, I mean, I've watched the team level up around you because of that. They've become better at their craft.
Thanks. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I think that's a good mark of leadership for sure.
Yeah, I agree. They definitely have so much respect for you, and I love sitting in on the dev stand-ups.
I don't, by the way. I'm kidding.
You don't count. It's
Sorry.
fine. No, just kidding.
You were saying I stepped on you.
So just sitting in on the dev stand-ups, seeing how things go, and you're just like, can you screen share, walk me through your process? What do we got? It's just like kind of cool because it is a very teaching moment, and it's for all of us. Like, I'm not going to get into Unity and do the same thing that when the devs did, but I like watching the process. Like, it's very interesting, and it's very helpful for all of us just to see how you got there.
I think it's been especially like, even though the technical dev side is a bit smaller at Gylee, just because Rah Rah Boom is very art heavy.
Yeah.
A lot of our art team doesn't come from the working with technical work, and especially video games.
I mean,
Right.
Taking their art.
none
of them. Yeah.
Full on.
Yeah,
no
there's
one.
Yeah.
zero.
So
And you're talking like 80% of the
Yeah.
team. Like,
Yeah, literally, I had to sit down and explain an MR the other day because I kept saying it and they didn't know what I was saying, and I was like, "Oh, my bad."
Well, so what was cool in all that was like finding the middle ground with everyone else. I'm not a leader to them, but I was at least able to be more of a thought leader in that respect of like, hey, how do we get your art in to where I as the game design and the not just like playing out the animations, but how do we transition between all these animations and still make it look good, right? And like being able to bring like kind of my experience on that from previous games I'd worked on was like I wasn't expecting. That was pretty cool to see on this game. And likewise, I mean, we have a phenomenal art team. I've learned so much in terms of that process as well.
what I appreciate about your leadership style is your approachability and your willingness to work with. I mean, we're all like making this game. We're all working with the resources that we have, right? And your willingness to be like, this is what I have in front of me as far as talent, expertise, etc. And being like, instead of being like, well, you don't get it, so I'm just going to give up, right? Which is like, I think a lot of people do. Being like, well, I'm willing to work with you where you are, to either level you up or get you to a place where we can collaborate effectively, or whatever it may be. And that I think a lot of talented engineers aren't particularly approachable.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
And for you to be that, and for you to be kind and thoughtful when you're talking to anyone, no matter who it is on the team, I think is a good example of your leadership style for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
I
well
appreciate
said.
it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
There's plenty of times I go to you and I was like, I don't understand any of this. Can you just, where am I? What am I doing?
Yeah. And your willingness to answer Slack messages at 2
Yeah.
a.m. You're either sending them or receiving them. That's for sure. Sometimes,
definitely
sometimes
happening.
you're
Yeah.
the one sending them. But
That's fair.
yeah.
You're not wrong. I'm sorry for keeping you up.
It's all right. If I'm up, I'll answer. That's
Cool, man. Well, happy to get to know you a little bit. Why don't we take a little break?
Yeah.
And when we come back, we'll get into some gaming news, some shenanigans, some recommendations from these people, and it'll be a good time. So here's the Rah Rah trailer. Act like you've never seen it before, and we'll see you in a second.
And then it went like 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, if it's fast, yeah, you're gonna shine already. Battle your battles, you got a talent, how to the cure. You can breathe underwater. Won't you teach me how to do it? I wanna take a swim and bring me with you one time. We can fly if you take me under your wing. But let me do my thing. And then it went like, hey.
Hello, and welcome back to Gylee and Friends. Before we get into gaming news, which is next, are you excited for gaming news?
Always excited. This is my favorite part of this whole podcast is gaming.
We need a new
news.
co-host, man. I just want to say, I've had this happen quite often. Denver, let's make it clear to the audience: we are not brothers. We are not blood related.
Not at all.
You're not twins?
Not that we know of.
But I just think it's because you have amazing hair.
Is that what it is?
And everyone thinks, and they're like, well, what do you think it is?
You guys just look alike, and your mannerisms are the same.
What?
Oh, come
No.
on.
Shit.
Anyway.
It is like, oh, hey, two nerdy ass white dudes started
Yeah,
a
the
studio.
video games.
What would AI generate? And it's like, boom, boom.
You guys both did the finger guns. Come on.
Well, I don't know my dad, man. Maybe you know.
He's younger than you.
I couldn't say. I don't know. But not my dad's brother is 9 years older. I don't know what he did.
Maybe we are blood related and we don't know it.
Yeah.
That would be
ask my
fucking
uncle.
wild if that,
That would
really,
be
like,
wild.
was
Appalachia
true.
history?
No.
Yeah,
here.
probably not.
You
then.
don't know
Yeah,
your history.
here in England. Yeah.
No, my dad's side, all Athens, and then, I don't know, probably Ireland,
Right on.
Okay.
I imagine.
Cool. You guys want to hear some gaming news?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's do
definitely.
it.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited about yours, honestly.
Oh, thank
Good
you.
Kim's pick this week.
Thank you.
We're not spoiling anything yet. First bit of gaming news. BlizzCon. I picked this one for me for sure.
Yeah, you did.
BlizzCon 2024 canceled, but promised to come back in future years. So Blizzard said, after careful consideration over the last year, we at Blizzard have made the decision to not hold BlizzCon in 2024. This decision was not made lightly, as BlizzCon remains a very special event for all of us, and we know many of you look forward to it. While we're approaching this year differently, as we have explored different event formats in the past, rest assured that we're just excited as ever to bring BlizzCon back in future years. Instead, Blizzard expects to announce details on its upcoming slate of games like World of Warcraft: The War Within and Diablo 4's Vessel of Hatred expansion later this year on its own, and other industry trade shows like Gamescom, which is scheduled at some point. It's in Germany. Overwatch 2 esports has still got a bunch of stuff going on, but yeah, no BlizzCon this year. I go to BlizzCon nearly every year, right? I think I've missed a couple, but
Yeah.
I go most years.
Why do you think they canceled it?
So they've canceled it before, or not canceled it, but just been like, hey, we're skipping this year
Yeah.
because we don't have anything to show. We don't have anything to get excited about
Yeah.
necessarily. You know,
That's what I was thinking.
which that makes sense. That's
Right.
like it's a very on again and off again relationship, you know, with Blizzard. And but this one's weird because there's never if there's an expansion coming out this year, which I believe War Within is this year. World of Warcraft War Within, they would always have a BlizzCon.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
if they were releasing an expansion, they would have it.
That
Yeah.
would make sense.
Um,
Did you go last year?
Last year was like so much fun.
Oh, really?
So much fun. It was an absolute blast. There was a ton of people there.
Hmm.
There's people I haven't seen and what was crazy is like my normal BlizzCon camp that I would run into or hang out with, like Garrett and Scott Johnson, like the Frog Pants guys, like weren't there. So I'm a part of the largest guild in World of Warcraft called AIE, which is it's Latin for something, and I'm not going to do it because I'll just embarrass myself.
It's fine.
But it's neat because like they have their own guild hall there, and
That is
and,
cool.
You know, and you connect with people that you play with virtually otherwise,
Yeah.
and it's just so fun, man. But like, I will say the security last year was much more difficult than it's ever been in the past.
Really?
And like the operational aspect of it, which I don't know if it's Blizzard, I'm sure it's like
Yeah.
just some other company or whatever, was like really frustrating as somebody that was going there as an attendee, right?
Yeah.
But I do know I don't think they've ever made money on it. I don't
think that's a
can't
point,
imagine.
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's such a production. It's so expensive. So I get when they're like, yeah, we can't do this.
They're kind of in like a bit of a regroup effort too as a company.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like just if they're going to take a year off to rethink strategy,
This is probably the year to do it.
Yeah.
I would agree. I would agree.
Like we want to see the best for them. If they need that, so be it.
But I mean, it's one of the highlights of my year, man. Is when it happens, it's always like, I definitely drop everything, go to BlizzCon. We go to Disneyland the day it's over.
Oh, that's fun.
That's cool.
'Cause it's literally across the
right
street,
there.
Yeah.
right? So there's like a ton of us that go to Disneyland the day after. And it has become such a fulfilling, emotional, it just fills me up to spend time with these people
Yeah.
and hang out with them and stuff. And so I'm bummed to see it not be there this year, but I do, and I'm curious as to why is it, I'm multitasking, sorry. Why is it a year when there's a WoW expansion?
Yeah.
That's unusual. But I do think, to your point, I think it's just everyone's, there's so much that's still up in the air in regards to the company, man.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Would you guys, if it was announced, would you go? If I was like, hey, I'm going, who wants to go?
No.
I would love to. But I would say yes, and then you'd be like, actually, please don't.
Yeah.
Because
we got a lot of shit to do.
Yeah, I
like
do that.
you can't actually go. And
Yeah.
honestly, that's one of the reasons I wouldn't go, because it's as fun as it would be, I would rather get the work that we need to get done.
This is our year.
Yeah, this is our year.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, now
The
that
next year, yeah, I got
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Next year.
I'm there.
well, I'm back to fundraising for other games, and so
We'll go with. I guess
starting
we'll
to
invite
spend-
you.
I'm starting
we'll
to
invite
spend
you.
my
I get
my
it, yeah.
what am I trying to say?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
that could be a good place to do it.
My busyness.
Oh.
Oh, it is actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
There we go.
You meet cool people.
When's
Um,
Gylee Con happening?
Oh,
Gylee
right.
Con? Oh,
I
yeah.
know.
guys gotta
Give us a
plan that.
year or two.
Yeah.
I do have BirdCon every year, which is you've been to one. I
Yeah.
feel like.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's a weekend at the cabin, where we just play board games all weekend long. There's what was a game that I think you were there that year. It's probably 20 people or so maybe. And what I love about it is typically we have people that have raised their hand and said, I will be the person to teach everyone this game, which
Yeah.
is you. And
It's almost always Denver. Yeah.
Wes Gromless, who's he's actually the guy that teaches games at Gen Con. He's one of those guys,
that's
right?
awesome.
He's amazing.
Oh yeah.
There's a 9-hour game that someone do you remember?
Yeah.
Was
oh
that
what was that we played?
was it a Game of Thrones game? Anyway, a 9-hour 9 hours is too long for a board game.
Yes.
I think it was the Lord of the Rings
Oh.
game. That has a whole you play as Frodo and you make your way, and it's the same pain as Frodo's walk to Mordor.
They made you feel that pain.
Yeah, I
That's
mean the
amazing.
game design intention, it was there.
Oh
it
my
was,
gosh.
It was
Yeah.
hard. It was painful.
Yeah, but it's
That's
really fun.
funny.
So we'll do BirdCon again at some point, and make sure you get to go, Drew.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Sounds
it'll be fun. It's a blast. And now we got the lake too. So the problem with having the lake now,
No one wants to play games.
no one wants to play games. They just want to
Hit the lake.
chill
Yeah.
in the lake and
Yeah.
Sit on
Have a drink,
lay in a
have a
floaty.
drink,
Yeah.
and and I'm
Come
man,
up with some big games on the lake
yeah.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Well,
until someone drowns.
yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's only
Everyone
42
has their
feet deep.
swimmies.
We're fine. It's only 42 feet deep, so no one's gonna drown.
What?
That's
I'm
good.
You
kidding.
can drown in a bathtub.
I'm aware.
Oh, okay.
I'm making jokes.
This is really
Bad
funny.
jokes, but I'm
Yeah,
making jokes.
drowning. Cut
Wait, I
the
had a
drowning
point.
joke, please.
No, don't cut the drowning joke. Cut the whatever. He's the producer. Oh man, I had a train of thought and it's gone.
Aw.
Ugh.
It's because you need some food in you, bud.
I do need food.
Yeah.
We're talking about board games, doing that there.
Yep.
Oh, I did want to do a game dev retreat there at some point. And
Oh yes.
with some of the homies that are around and
Mhm.
we go there and just I don't know if we shoot the shit or I also thought well, let's have people that are experts in their field, have you come in,
Mm-hmm.
talk to everyone, talk about sort of your role and your choices and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, I think
think-
that would be amazing. Not just for me, but anyone to be a part of, because online, when you're doing a seminar or listening, there's so
Yeah.
many distractions.
Oh yeah.
That's what's beautiful about that cabin.
Yeah.
Off the grid, It's just you.
It's
and
very
the
on the
small
grid now. By the way, we have fiber
it?
installed.
Oh, do you?
Oh.
Oh, that may have been a mistake.
I see it.
Yeah.
It's a little. There's pros and cons.
Wow.
Well, we'll
That's
just
impressive.
unplug it
Yeah.
during those events.
So just have all the events in the lake. Just
Yeah.
do that. You'll be fine. No one's gonna.
Oh, that's a whole other distraction.
For sure. Yeah, but I've been like kicking that around as an idea. I don't know, man. Maybe
Yeah,
you'll
that'd be
help me
cool.
kick it around, and we'll come up with something there. That'd be fun.
That would be great.
Another bit of gaming news because we're still in that segment. We definitely got off topic.
That never happens.
I'm very curious about how you feel about this.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Meta,
don't know. Oh,
because we're just
Okay.
we're just calling that it
Yeah.
now,
We're doing it?
I guess. I don't
Listen,
know.
I'm never
I don't
gonna
know.
not say Twitter. I'll say Meta.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
Okay.
Because it's
Yeah.
the same asshole as far as like Meta and Facebook. Like, same asshole owns both of them.
Yeah, I see what you're
Right?
saying.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, I see,
No, just Mark Zuckerberg.
but
I just mean he started Facebook. He changed it to Meta.
we're not.
Oh, but-
we're
oh,
not
but
mad at
Twitter-
the Twitter
Twitter
asshole.
changed to X because of Musk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
You know what
It's-
I mean?
it-
I thought you were saying they were both owned by the same person. I was like,
No.
Musk and Zuck are the same.
What?
What? Nobody told me
shit.
that.
It's a
I mean,
thin line, man.
yeah,
It's
that's-
a thin line.
It's
The
not, it
triangle's
was
real.
his
Yeah.
company, and he changed the name as opposed to taking
Yeah,
over
yeah.
a company.
Yeah, no,
and
Twitter's
making it-
Twitter. Twitter's like where I built my network and made a bunch of friends.
I don't get
and
why he did that. Like, fine, be X, but do the conglomerate above it. Because
Yeah.
he's tacking so many things to the Twitter brand that just don't fit.
Well, and
Nothing
you're
makes
you're
sense.
demolishing a brand that has been built over 10,
Yeah.
15 years, right? Like it. Anyway, that's another topic. for
Sorry,
another day.
yeah.
If you want us to talk about that more, comment in the YouTube
Comment
section.
below. That's what you
Yeah.
have to say.
Or if you're listening and you're working out, keep going.
Oh, what?
You got this.
Spotify.
Yeah,
you got
good
this.
job.
Or podcast. I probably
Yeah.
shouldn't say a specific one.
Yeah. So Meta loses another 3.8 billion on VR. So Meta reported its first quarter earnings after the close of trading yesterday, showing continued losses in its VR Reality Labs division that were more than offset by growth and profitability in the rest of the business. So, I mean, Meta's in good shape as far as
Yeah, they're
revenue,
fine.
but their VR is tanking. So, first quarter, I don't know if it's their first fiscal quarter, but it's first quarter to us. Revenue 36.5 billion, which is up 27% year on year. That growth is insane.
That's
still.
crazy.
Yeah.
Dang.
Net income 12.4 billion, which is up 117%. Their net income's
That-
up 117%.
Oh my
You're like,
God.
how?
How?
It's
It's not
other
Facebook
countries. It's
gotta be-
Marketplace.
oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Denver knows
Yeah.
what's up. Yeah.
Reality Labs, though, their revenue was up 440 million. Was 440 million was their revenue,
Yeah.
which is up 30% year on year.
Well,
Hey, good
making
job, Reality
progress.
Labs.
Yeah.
Their operating loss was 3.85 billion, compared to a loss of 3.99 billion last year's first quarter. So there's some gains, I guess.
This math isn't mathing, but I get it.
So the story says Meta's story largely continued as it has with VR division dragging on the success of its various services like Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, and WhatsApp, but not enough to keep the company from growing both revenues and profits, despite losing money at a rate of more than 1 billion per month. Since June of 2022, Meta affirmed its commitment to Reality Labs, saying, "We continue to expect operating losses to increase meaningful year over year due to our ongoing product development efforts and our investments to further scale our ecosystem."
that's
Yeah.
R&D. That's
It
where
is
it's
R&D.
all
I mean, I
going.
get it's R&D, but to what end, man? Like, where are you? No, we'll save you. Where are you in regards to VR? Have you done it? Have you tried it?
I've tried it when we worked at Shore Monster. You had a headset that we tried in the office.
That was the original Kickstarted dev kit from Oculus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was pretty impressed with it at that point.
That was ass.
It was
compared to now.
nauseating. And then I've had friends that have it, but I've never had any desire to own VR. I'm not really liking the space. I understand why people would want to keep pursuing that, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Why?
Why is it not my cup of tea?
Yeah.
Same reason I hate group text, I think, because like I would rather be
That's
in the
a
moment.
weird correlation.
I know, right? You all looked at me
You don't
like I
like
was
group text?
I hate group text.
How do you hate group conversation?
No,
Do you hate this right now?
I love this. I love
The title of this is
physically.
Kim Hates Group Text.
And any one of my friends or family would know, like I am not a participant in a group text. I am like just like a little
A
side
family,
side.
I get.
Yeah, but even like I've friend
That
group texts. I'm
explodes.
not.
I'm
good
gonna
at it.
have like 6 different group texts with you this week.
Please
I'm just
do
saying.
not. When you did, this is another one of the reasons going back to the whole football thing. That group text was like awful. Like go Bengals. Like I didn't want it. I didn't
I
need
love that
another.
group text.
I didn't need another.
You're doing fantasy football this year.
My point to this weird rant is I'd rather be physically playing a game with somebody than having a headset
It's
over
very
me.
isolating.
Yes.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
Yeah,
I get that.
I would agree with that.
So that's and that's how I would feel about a group text where you just like send a thumbs up or like ha ha ha. I'd rather literally be having that conversation with that group of people than like just
IRL?
sitting there. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you mute your group texts?
No, I think that's not okay.
I instantly
Yeah,
mute
that's
every
the
group text.
fix.
I feel like I'd get yelled at.
Just mute it, and then if you don't get it to it for
Well,
3 days,
they've solved
whatever.
it.
Yeah.
They can at you, and then that'll notify you.
Yeah, if you need to be
Yeah.
if you need to be a part of it.
I don't know if I'm allowed to do that.
Oh man.
That's fascinating. But the isolation's it seems
Yeah,
like that's a big.
that's why
yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, and I wholeheartedly would agree with that. I'm curious if you have a take on this.
Drew.
I have a take.
Okay.
I think, I'm working on a mixed reality game right now for the Oculus Quest. And because of that, I've gotten to kind of mess around with some of the other games. I think the mixed reality is kind of where it's at because it isn't as isolating.
Okay.
Because you can still see your surroundings. But I saw Mark Zuckerberg post video to his Instagram recently where he said that they're opening up their platform. They're opening
Oh,
up.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
To other developers,
like
yeah.
Xbox,
All that
Steam.
stuff.
So like Steam or Xbox could use their hardware and like the Meta app basically to run their games on. And I didn't know if it was
The OS, right? Like the
Yeah.
full OS, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know if it was like desperation or because they're just losing so much money with it right now. But I think it is a developing platform, and I think when the headsets aren't so clunky and big, then they will be really cool. When they're like glasses sized. I think there's also the like Apple competition that's happening right now.
Yeah.
That they're trying to win.
Well, Apple's like, I think they lessened their projections
I
for.
think they expected
their
like
thing.
800,000 units
Yeah.
sold, and now they've brought it to like 400,000. They're probably not even going to hit that.
Yeah.
And it's because like everyone who bought,
That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like they're
That's
come to
gross.
market. That was odd.
It was so weird.
awful.
They did no developer adoption for that. I was
Oh,
like,
for
hey,
sure.
please develop with this platform that we will not give you hardware for to test.
Yeah.
And will not help even some of the biggest players in the VR AR space get to market with them.
I will say to Meta's credit, man, like they've financed a
Yes,
shit ton
heavily.
of VR games
totally
fully.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, and like to adopt, that's probably where some of those billions
Yeah.
get
Oh yeah. Yep.
right? But like to build an ecosystem that people will want to spend time in.
Yeah.
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 And I love the open source. Like that to me would be where it needs to go.
I don't think it's open source.
Yeah,
I think
no.
it's just like
where
APIs.
there's
Open
just-
platform.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like okay. That's a little less exciting. But the fact that they're opening it up to other companies in
Totally.
order to work with them on their platform is
It's
cool.
it's getting into like Steam Deck philosophy.
Okay.
In terms of like, yeah, like you can put anything you want on your Steam Deck, but we have this curated platform if you want. I think up to this point, Meta, like, you had to, like, that was not easy before. You'd have to, like, manually move APKs and stuff like that to get it on.
Yeah. Also, speaking of, can I get my Steam Deck back?
Oh yeah, he complained about it on the last episode.
Did I?
Yeah, he
Confirmed.
threw you under the bus.
Oh no! Yeah,
in the
I
last
I
episode.
throw people under the bus all the time.
Yeah,
That's
just
not
so
unusual.
you know.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't even remember doing that. Sorry.
Well,
I just want to play Velatro
it's out
on
there.
a Steam Deck.
Yeah, that's fine.
Literally it.
I only have it for the dev build.
I know. Do you have any further thoughts on Meta and losing money with VR?
Yeah, they're gonna lose money until wearing a headset feels normal. Like right now, it's still scuba gear equipment.
Yeah.
Which is
And like people aren't going to do that.
yeah, it just
The
doesn't.
average consumer, not us,
Yeah,
the average consumer will not do that.
I think even that though, it's like it is so counterintuitive almost to like your instincts. Like
Yep.
it is immediately like if you think about like the philosophy of like feng shui interior design, like the last thing you're gonna do is be like, and now I can't see anything. I like all energy is attacking me in all directions.
Yeah,
at
it's such a
once.
disconnect. You're like immediately in fight or flight mode.
Yes,
Yep.
the
Right.
whole time until hopefully
It's
you
terrifying.
can focus enough on the experience to like get out of that.
Yeah.
And then you're sweating a ton in your eyes. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's
horrible.
Glasses
Motion
is like
Yeah,
sickness
yeah,
is a
fun.
huge
Oh,
problem.
yeah.
Like a lot of people
Yes.
get motion sick. as soon
I
as they
think
put 'em on.
that will go away.
Yeah.
I think that in my argument to that is everyone said that about first person shooters in 2000. They were like, how is this ever going to take on? Like this
I still
extremely
get motion sick
nauseating.
in first person shooters though.
Oh,
It-
do you?
So,
Oh, yeah.
I'm
I
not
didn't
saying
know
it
that.
goes away,
Yeah.
but I do think you can. I play on.
Rara,
So I do play it.
made me motion sick.
Yeah,
as
we
shit.
had a problem with one of the
that's
boss
a 2D
fights.
animated
Yeah,
beat 'em
it
up.
made me. Not, yeah, that you're
Do you
right.
remember
with
that?
Oh,
I
yes.
do.
I literally,
Ugh.
I was like, yeah. As soon as that one had to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but like all I'm getting at is like to me the plays that Meta is making that are really interesting is I mean some clear things. One, they're like one of the only companies that can just like self-fund this because of how much Mark Zuckerberg owns of Meta.
Yeah.
To be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this anyway. I don't care.
Yeah.
The other aspect is just their plays with Ray-Bans. Like they're coming at it from both sides. So Ray-Bans, they're trying to figure out like how can they get social media into a glasses form factor. On the other side, they're trying to figure out how to make social media work with games. And those two, they're trying to figure out how to unify them. And
Didn't
that's a
Snapchat do
10-year
that?
that's a 10-year project.
Snap has
They have the Snap lenses,
lens.
but
Yeah.
I
Snap lens.
I think they're gone. I don't actually
Yeah,
know.
I think they were
Drew,
cool.
you have any idea?
I don't think they survived.
Yeah.
Okay.
The last time I got my glasses, there were no snaps
Okay.
available, but there were a lot of Ray-Bans with Meta.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, VR has been really disappointing for me, man. Because like I was way into it when it first happened.
You really were.
I was
You,
extremely into
like,
it.
dived right
Yeah,
in.
and then motion sickness was a big problem for me. We did a VR project that we can never, I don't
Yeah,
think ever talk about,
about.
actually.
Yeah.
But we did a VR project at Gylee that was really fun and
Yeah, it
like
was
really
cool.
cool, and some cool people worked on it. Yeah, it's just I just think the adoption, the consumer adoption will never be there. Will never be there until it's you know, it's ubiquitous with the phone. Like when it's that small,
Oh, there you
that
go. Yeah.
useful, that's when it will become something. But I hate to be that negative about it. I want it to be awesome, and I want people to use it. My kids play it, but they'll play it for a day and then forget about it for 2 months, and then be like, oh yeah, Rec Room, and then they'll play it for a day and then forget about it for 2 months, right? Like,
Yeah. I heard the most interesting take on how they're going to get to the small form factor on, Marcus Brownlee. He had on his most recent podcast, he had an ex-designer on the Meta headsets.
Mhm.
And he talked about the Apple Vision and part of like the Vision Pro and why the battery is a tether.
Yep.
The whole argument being get people used to this tether, and we can slowly, as like battery becomes better and we can make the form factor of these smaller, we'll move everything to the battery pack that sits in your pocket to make the form factor as small as possible
Tiny.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a physics issue there.
Well,
It's like in regards to battery size and all that. That's why you need the tether. Is my point.
The capacity, like those are getting smaller over time.
Yeah.
A lot of reasons, like the argument being that as what they need for that gets into a smaller form factor, they can take the M2 chip and move it down there.
Yeah,
they can
yeah,
then
yeah.
take the their
All the other components.
Yeah.
And put it there.
All the sensors. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
That is interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Those are your gaming news. Now for less important news.
Aw. You said you're excited for this one.
I am excited for this one. Kim doesn't know anything about gaming, so she doesn't.
What? It was a little boring.
You did
and
a
I
great
wanted
job
to
holding that back.
jazzing it
Yeah,
up.
we're
think we
allowed
can-
to cuss on here, by the way, bud.
I know, but for some reason I old timey it all the time, and I'm just gonna keep doing the thing I do.
All right, deal. Also, I finished Fallout episode 2. I'm only on episode 2.
I
Old-timey.
finished
Don't
it,
talk about
finish
it at all.
Oh
I've not
my
seen it.
gosh! Everyone needs to watch
It's
Fallout.
so good.
It's
so good.
so
That's
good.
recommendations. We've already done that recommendation, but
But also, hot take. I'm so excited for season 2.
really,
Yeah,
okay.
that's that good.
I did. Oh, okay. I'll do this in recommendations. So it's time for Kim's pick.
Oh, sorry.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
One day, Drew will be kind enough to make bumpers for us for
He
these
doesn't
different
care
sections.
about Kim's picks. Nobody does.
Uh,
It's fine.
Little jingle for
It would be
Kim's
like
pick.
a little womp womp. Or
yeah. Kim,
That'd be
what's
pretty
your
good.
your pick of news for this week?
U.S. bans non-compete agreements for nearly all jobs. I actually don't know what jobs it doesn't work for, which I couldn't figure out in the article. However, I just am very excited that this.
Yeah, get a lawyer.
Yeah, right. I was thinking maybe nonprofit or something like that, but I'm not sure. I don't know my legals. But for me, like in the gaming industry, I feel like this is really cool
This
because
is huge.
I'd have to take that clause out a lot, especially when we had contractors and stuff like that, because like that's not.
So in a standard
an-
employment agreement, a non-compete is in there.
Yes.
Almost always.
It's just built in,
Yeah.
regardless.
And we would take it out if we felt there, we didn't want to restrict anybody.
yeah, ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of times where I would have to take the clause out, not have to. I didn't want to give them a contract with a non-compete and then have them say no thank you.
Yeah, word.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like there was somebody I wanted to work with, obviously, because I was sending them an agreement and I
In
very
which,
much
like, we don't
respected
really
what they did.
care that much about a non-compete
Yeah.
anyway.
No,
Like, it's
yeah,
not-
I mean,
I can
in
think of-
practice, non-competes are for like if you are truly causing malice. So like,
Yeah.
yeah.
at least at an individual, like for Gylee, be like you would to break our non-compete. You probably also broke an NDA. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
probably
yeah.
did like
yeah, there's other
multiple
ways that
egregious
it- yeah.
I think
measures.
one thing, just one time we had to use our non-compete, and that was the only time I can ever think of. But what
But that was not that we didn't enforce it. They just asked a question. And we were like,
we didn't enforce it.
And we're just like, hey, this is what it is. That's
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was it. But I also see this good for doctors because that non-compete is
Oh, yeah.
huge for them.
Therapists too. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Anyone in that space.
I think that it's important for them to be able to spread out and not be restricted by their employer. So like on that aspect, I don't know if this is why they pushed for this ban, but I think that it's huge, especially in the medical industry.
Yeah, a great point.
Thank
yeah.
you.
I think it's phenomenal. It gives me a sense of like, as like one of my favorite subreddits is late stage capitalism. Right? Which is
Yeah.
like what we're in, and just like how capitalism is fucking driving humanity so much right now. And this is like a moment where it's like, oh, there's hope.
Right?
There's hope that people can be treated,
Like humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. What's your take, Dan?
Yeah, no, I think it's really great to see that done away with because more often than not, it's just a fear measure in most organizations. that is never actually actioned upon. I think the employee, I think this will give better bartering capability to the employee, which I think in a lot of scenarios matters.
Leverage.
Yeah, that's the word.
You guys even laugh the same.
Shut up.
Come on.
Sorry. So good. It was
Don't bully me.
Yeah, so from that end, it's one of those things that in practice, I think the intent that companies put it together for is in good nature, but the practice literally hurts people's lives.
Yep.
Yeah.
So from that end, I think it's an overall net good. Just no one go after our people.
Oh yeah.
Stay away from us, please.
Stay away from us, small
Although
companies.
if you can offer them more money, man, like I don't.
Right, I know.
you should
I don't want to be
take
the
that.
asshole.
Yeah. Great Kim's pick,
Really?
I must say.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was gaming related. I mean,
was
it could have been a
it
gaming
could have been,
news
yeah.
story. And I didn't do my gaming news before you did your Kim's pick because I was going to put that in.
Oh, were
and
you?
then I saw that
Oh,
you
I
put it
stole
in.
your thing.
No, you didn't steal
Oh.
it. You're just, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well, it just made sense. It was topical,
Proud
if
of
you
you.
will. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's get into some shenanigans.
Yay.
Dun, 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 dun.
Bum, bum, bum.
Who do we start with? Denver.
Yes.
What shenanigans lately have you gotten into or are going to get into in the very near future?
Gotten into none because of milestones.
Yeah.
Going
Yeah.
to get into
So just staying up late, not
Yeah.
sleeping.
Yep.
a
Stress.
lot of good lo-fi hip hop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Beats to
nice.
study /
Oh, yeah.
relax to / stress to.
Yeah. Brain FM, if you don't use it, is great for that stuff. Brain.fm.
I have used that a few times.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is
yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, what's coming up? Got a friend getting married up in New York City, so
Yay.
finally get back there. I haven't been there since COVID.
That's
so,
crazy.
Geez, my kids have been born since then. Like no one's been. So I'm super excited to get back there. Get halal. Show my kids what great food is.
Was Robin pregnant when
no,
last time
No
we hung
way.
out there? Or I thought he
no,
already
no,
had
no, no.
one.
It was like right when we moved back, and then she got pregnant like 6 months later.
Okay.
Something.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, our kid was a hardcore COVID baby. Like he was December 2019, and then COVID next month.
Yeah, man.
So
Insane.
yeah. But yeah, no, I'm excited to get back and see a lot of my old friends. Get up to the Rockefeller Center.
Okay.
Gonna see take Dalton to the Nintendo store. He
Oh,
is
yeah,
That's
very
gonna be
excited.
so
Yeah.
cool. How
Yeah.
old is he
Yep.
now?
He is 4.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like
so
super
fun.
into. I mean, I had nothing to do with it, of course, but
Yeah.
all things Nintendo.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna show him where I used to live in
I love
Brooklyn.
it.
Hopefully
So
they
not
haven't.
Staten Island, not the Staten Island house.
That was the nicest one.
I know.
It was. Oh gosh, I
That's
love
a
that
trip.
place.
So far away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not with the trains.
That's
not
true.
with the trains.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna take him there. Hopefully, it's still standing.
Yeah.
I don't know. They
Oh,
demolish
that's
buildings all the
interesting.
time
Yeah.
to
Oh, yeah.
I didn't
renovate.
think about that.
Oh yeah.
And the pizza place? Are you gonna try to go to the pizza place?
I'm gonna try. Yep. But halal is my number one.
Okay.
Halal, baby.
Yeah. That,
Yeah.
I gotta get out to that. I've missed it so much.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna get up
That's
to this
exciting.
next week.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
And that's this weekend or next
No,
weekend?
it's next.
Next
That's
weekend.
next
No,
weekend.
not this weekend.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
weekend is my kid's little birthday party.
Hey.
Yeah, so it's like my sister-in-law, they adopted, and
Mhm.
they were their kid was born a week before Corbin, so
Oh,
it's a
I
shared
didn't know
little
that.
family party.
Nice.
That's
that makes it
cute.
easy.
Yes,
Two
yep.
birds, one stone, all that stuff.
And the weather's
Well, for
great
me, it's
too.
I don't do anything for it, so yeah, I bought the gift.
Yeah.
It's all Robin.
Yeah. Awesome. Kim,
Hi.
what shenanigans have you gotten into recently?
My shenanigans. Let me look.
You're such a good co-host. You're so prepared
I'm
always.
so prepared. I went to my good friend's 30th birthday party at a space, a big group of our friends and her family and her husband's family. We all went to this space called the living room. It's in Norwood. I'd never been there. It's like
I hope to never go to Norwood if I can help it.
well, that wasn't nice. It was like it's like mostly a creative meeting space. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. A
Like
lot of
co-working or like
no, like a almost like a meeting space where they'll rent because there's like a huge kitchen, like there's a slide indoor, like it's a
Okay.
really
Oh, that's
cool,
cool.
That is cool.
space.
Yeah.
And like they said a lot of the times that they rent it out is during the week because it is for like creative meetings and stuff like that. So like like when we've gone to the cabin to do stuff to like
Yeah,
figure
like
out that's
retreat
what
or-
like
yeah.
a retreat, exactly, that's what people would rent it out for. But she happened to find this really good space where we can bring our own food, utilize their kitchen, and it was just a very open, friendly space for like kids too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Nice.
fun. I was so impressed by it, and
Yeah.
she said it was like
So you have rich
as far
friends.
as
is what you're
cost,
telling me.
no, as far as cost, it was really like I didn't ask her how much, but she was like it was reasonable, and it was really
Nice.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had walking tacos, which
Ooh.
I'm not kidding. It's like
I
one
miss
of my
walking
favorite. Yeah,
tacos.
I know.
Only thing better than walking tacos are white people tacos.
No, walking tacos are better.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And she
I
did
just
this
wanted the
thing.
joke. I just wanted to get
You just want to get your joke. I didn't know. To me, walking tacos are Fritos, but they also had Doritos, and I was like, "Yes, you have Doritos for walking
Ooh,
tacos."
yeah.
I didn't think
That's the
about
way to
that.
go.
That's good.
It was
Ugh,
genius.
I want some Doritos.
I know. Sorry,
That's great. We're gamers.
Chris.
Yeah.
Have you gotten any shenanigans?
Shenanigans.
Wait, what was your shenanigans joke? Oh, I forgot it already.
Oh, what was it? I wrote it down, but my phone's right there. So
Yeah,
I
I
don't
can't get
know.
to it. It was funny.
We'll do it next time.
Okay,
we'll do
sorry.
it next time. We have a shenan joke somewhere,
Yeah.
and we'll do it next time. What did I have to look at my notes?
Oh, you do ya?
Yeah.
You just made fun of me for that.
No, you were like way up on the page, and you had to scroll to the right. I'm right where I need to be because I'm great.
It's a podcast.
host.
People can't see it. The fuck? Go on.
Does anybody else want to take that? People
have-
can't see it.
Well, I would hope not. but
We're on YouTube, buddy.
I know. I hate
This
it.
is a video podcast first. Well, not first, but
Not
it
first.
is. It
Definitely
is a video
not first.
Podcast.
It's a podcast first. You
Ah.
just tell me your thing.
The weather shifted, man. I'm so happy,
Oh.
Yeah.
Something in
Yeah.
the air right now.
I know.
dude. It finally happened. We went through the third winter in Cincinnati.
It was
Oh
mild.
my gosh, yeah.
It was mild.
and it finally shifted.
It's April.
Yeah.
yeah,
late April.
I know.
Yeah,
it, it should still be snowing technically.
Yeah. And I just I've spent as much time on rooftops as I can.
That was fun at the Rheingeist rooftop.
Rheingeist rooftop's
Oh,
great.
yeah. I love that.
Yeah, it
You
was
know,
really
good
pretty.
rooftop. Cohatch has a great rooftop.
Oh
Spent
yeah, it
some time
does.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's rooftop season, and
Yeah.
I love me a
I
good
do.
rooftop.
Same.
You know.
I forgot.
So I've been
about
doing that. I met with Charity, who's
Oh, she's so great.
she is great. She's an interior designer, and she's going to redesign her set.
Oh
Here,
God, we
right
need
here.
help.
Whoa.
Right? She's
She's gonna-
excited.
She's gonna
That's
come in.
so
You might get a
awesome.
real
and do
desk.
that.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
No, it's just
I'm happy with
it's,
what I
it's
have.
lights and
Yeah.
head.
There's
Yeah.
no camera here.
Yeah.
I
Aw.
get it.
I do think we should fix that at some point. People need to see your face.
Yeah.
You have a gorgeous face, Drew.
I agree.
Thank you.
And then my wife went to Chicago to see with Glenn, whom we all know,
Yeah.
to see Magnetic Fields perform their album 69 Love Songs for 2 nights. So it was like, 30 I don't know. What's half of 69?
34 and 35.
34 and
Yeah.
35 songs each night.
That's a lot.
Had a great time. And so because of that, I hung out with the kids all weekend. And all we did was play Helldivers 2.
That's really cool.
That was it. We didn't, by the end of Sunday, when she came back, our living room smelled like a junior high locker room.
I believe it.
Because like we just did not fucking move.
Yeah.
And
Unless
we
you had
so,
to pee.
So much fun.
Right?
Well,
that was like
yeah.
the only time
Yeah.
you moved.
But if you pee, it's just like cover me, or if I die, wait to bring me back until I'm done peeing. That's
Interesting.
All, you know,
Yeah.
It's how
So,
it is.
Basics.
so not the Cartman chair.
No.
That's good.
Yeah. So had a lot of fun doing that. As for what's up ahead, I'm seeing Atmosphere tomorrow at Bogart's. Atmosphere is like
Oh, nice.
a white
Yeah, that's
people
really
rap thing that I love. So it's from
Is
my
it-
not my childhood,
is it
but
white
definitely my
people?
teenage. What?
Is it white people rap?
Yeah, Slug's
Oh.
white.
But I think everyone likes it.
Not everyone. There's
Oh.
many people that one have never heard of it,
Oh, okay.
and two,
Maybe it's because I'm from here.
yeah, and two are like really opposed to it, which is fine. That doesn't bother me at all.
It's good stuff.
Going to see that with Nick, and then we have a friend that did all of their graphic design for a very long time. All of Rhyme Saver's graphic design, all of Atmosphere's graphic design, and he'll be there. So I'm gonna hang out with him also.
Oh, that's
over
cool.
there. So I'm excited for that.
So you're not name dropping this time.
I'm not saying his name.
Okay.
I will say it's Chris Glebe. I don't think he's
He's a cool person, though.
He's a very cool. He's a creative director at Lightborn. Huge badass now, man.
Yeah.
Somebody I look up to a lot. Have looked up to for a very, very long time. So
He's a very impress person, and I'm surprised you didn't want to name drop that
yeah,
one.
but excited to hang out with him and go and just get kind of ratchet, like a little ratchet. Like I think it's gonna be really fun.
And then
Because I can rap
like
anything Sevens Travels and below. I can rap all this stuff too, which was a long time ago. But I'm excited to be
That's exciting.
annoying.
You said annoying.
And then also next week with Glenn.
Yeah.
So Glenn shares. Here's what's great about. He wouldn't mind me telling this. I don't think. Here's what I love about Glenn Platt. Here's what I love about. I get to be his friend. Is what I mean. Is this dude buys concert tickets
Oh,
like
yeah.
constantly.
Oh, really?
Constantly.
I love that.
He has and he always buys two. He has no idea who's going to go. And then like 2 days before, like he's not good at planning any of it. But
None of
2
us
days
are.
before, he'll be like, "Hey, I have tickets to this thing. Do you want to go?" And it's like, I mean, yeah, like I saw Bon Iver this way. Like I went and saw Bon Iver
Oh,
with Glenn.
nice.
Like this
That's
way.
cool.
Right?
Yeah.
It was amazing. And so we're going on Tuesday. We're going to Columbus and seeing the Postal Service and Death Cab for Cutie.
Oh my god, I love
sweet.
both
Awesome.
of them incredibly.
Dude.
That's gonna be a dope concert. I got
Cannot
loud. I
wait.
got excited.
Cannot wait.
That's gonna be dope.
I'm supposed to see it again in LA, but you know so I'm curious to see which one's better, but insanely excited about that. So that's a shenanigan I'm really excited
That's
about.
yeah. Those are all good shenanigans.
To wrap it up, Kim.
We're wrapping stuff up already.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We've been going long actually.
Yeah,
on this
we
one,
always-
quite a bit. Do you have any recommendations for a wonderful, beautiful, like
Amazing.
sexy,
Talented.
like sexy to where you don't want to talk to them, sexy
audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've seen all of them.
Yeah.
I have been.
Sorry.
It's because they're intimidating.
Chuckling over here.
They're
great.
intimidating.
Yeah.
The audience is intimidating
It
because they're
is.
so
Yeah.
sexy.
It's. I'm not going to argue with you on that.
Yeah.
This is why we go long.
Do you have any recommendations, Kim?
Yeah, I've been watching Sugar on Apple TV. Has anyone watched it
I
yet?
have no idea what
No,
this is.
No.
None.
Oh
Uh-uh.
my gosh.
What can you give?
Okay,
give us a
it's
premise.
so good. Okay, so Colin Farrell is
Ooh, yeah.
this private detective, and he's got his own little demons or whatever, and he's investigating a disappearance of a Hollywood producer's beloved granddaughter, and like he only he's like this sought out detective that only takes like high cases where no one wants to like include the police. They want to keep it like hush hush.
Word.
Mm-hmm.
That's me
And
always, baby.
and the way
ACAB.
oh my god, the cinematography of it is chef's kiss. Like it will guide you to black and white and then gradually just bring you into this abrasive gorgeous color and you don't even realize that it's doing it. Like it is amazing, the way that it's filmed and the way like he is there, he like talks over it and he's got like an English accent that is the sexiest accent.
Isn't he Irish? Colin's
He's-
Irish, right? I think so.
I don't want to
I
be
don't know.
wrong. He's definitely not English. It might be Irish. Yeah. but the accent.
I mean, he's a sexy boy.
He does like an American accent, to be specific,
Oh.
not an English accent. I should
Okay.
say American. And it's like rugged and sexy, and it's really good. And he just like, and like everyone just hits their mark. I am so impressed with
How
it.
many
If you
episodes
like,
so far? You?
because Apple TV is a little bit different than how a lot of the other streaming services work. So they only like once a week. So I think we're at 3 right now.
Okay, but you're like,
But like
on top of what's coming
obsessed.
out.
Yeah, as soon as it comes out, whenever it drops, like I
Dude.
get that notification.
Sugar on Apple TV.
Sugar on Apple TV. I'm telling you,
Good
it's
stuff.
really good.
Yeah. Den, any recommendations for you, man?
Oh man. Okay, so mine right now is the game I've gotten real into. So I previously have hated MOBAs, just couldn't get into them. My biggest gripe with MOBAs has been the hurdle of learning all of the characters. That is like it's a high skill ceiling. So for me, my kid recently has gotten into Pokemon Unite.
Is that a MOBA?
It is a MOBA.
Huh.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I was watching him play it the other day, and I was like, "Wait, this like I get what's happening.
Yeah,
Like,
I can
I think I could play this." So yeah, I've been real into it recently, playing with him, and
That's
like
cute.
it works. Yeah, it also actually has a pretty in-depth high skill ceiling, but it's very accessible.
Easy to
which is
learn,
super
hard
cool.
to master kind of vibe.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, word.
Yeah, it's not like, you have like at any time you have like 2 or 3 actions available to you.
Right on.
Like it's not, it's not the numpad of everything.
Is it on Switch? Is it? I'm assuming it's on
It's
Switch.
mobile and Switch.
Oh wow.
that's cool.
Yeah, free
Wow.
to play and like actually pretty free. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to pay to win, which
Right
is pretty nice, especially
Yeah.
with a kid. I
Yeah.
don't want him ever learning those games.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, if you have like a kid between like 4 and 10 and you're looking for a game to play with them, it's a good one.
That's
Pokemon
awesome.
Unite.
You had mentioned, I don't know how long ago, but that you make a point to like spend time with him in the morning and play video games, and I think that is
Yeah.
so stinking cute. I love that.
It's one of the number one ways we bond. It's fun.
I love that.
Yeah. Kim, you never make a point to play video games with me.
You're not my child, even though you feel like it. Yeah.
A little bit.
We play Rah Rah Boom.
We do play
Yeah.
Rah Rah a lot.
There you go.
Yeah. Recommendations for me, man. Pretty quick. First, I mean, I've already recommended it, but so I think we're on episode 6 now, but episode 5 of X-Men 97, I initially watched by myself. End of it, like full tears.
Oh my gosh.
Full fucking tears. Like can't catch your breath. Kind of
Wow.
like that. Oh, even thinking about it, I'm good. Full fucking tears. And then I watched it with my family.
Mm-hmm.
I had already seen it, right? Full fucking tears again. man.
Oh, wow.
My wife lost
Yeah.
it too.
Aw.
We're
And she hasn't seen the
she's
original.
never
or
seen
has
the
she
original.
new?
No one in my
Okay.
family's seen the original but me.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're invested only X-Men 97 on. They're not invested
Wow.
prior.
And still,
Yeah. The writing is so good. So meaningful, so in depth. The characters are so good. The character development is so good. And it just took a turn from nostalgia to real true art and it's for the people that watched it then.
oh, that's awesome.
And it's been elevated to us now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Incredibly the first 2 episodes I was like, cool, this is great, really like it, it's X-Men happy, and it's like, oh no, it is a different thing. It is a different thing. It is so much more than I thought it could be.
That's awesome.
It's crazy.
Has it redeemed the MCU for you?
I like the MCU.
No, but like they're in the slump.
We
think.
haven't had there's been a couple movies that are a little lackluster, but I like it. I like the MCU.
I don't get me wrong, I do too. But like hearing what you're saying about X-Men has me very excited for the next phase.
Yeah, it's the
Because
best
it's been the
storytelling.
missing gap.
It's
of
the
like
it's
where
the
are
best
they?
storytelling in Marvel in a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, and I haven't watched episode 6, so no spoilers. But and then also, the other thing is because of the Fallout. So I hate Fallout. I hate the world.
It's so fun.
I hate the world. It's not a game that.
The show, from what I see, does not look the same as the games.
So
There's a big difference.
There's
I think.
so many little like nods to it, like
Yeah.
all
Oh
the
yeah,
creatures.
no, but
and-
I mean like sorry.
Yeah, you say
continue
your
where going
thing,
because
yeah.
I think I vibe
yeah,
very
it's,
much
it's-
with
yeah.
that.
So like, I don't like Fallout games at all. I love
love
Bethesda games. Like I love other Bethesda games, just not the Fallout series in particular. And it's primarily due to the art direction, and the world. Like I'm not a fan of like 50s post-apocalyptic stuff. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It's like kind of grating to me. And but I watched the show. Watched the first 2 episodes, so I'm still working through it. But already, I was like, oh man, maybe. And I had some downtime, which never happened. So it was kind of like the perfect storm. I'll download Fallout 76 is available on Xbox. I think all the Fallouts are available on Xbox Game Pass now.
Okay.
And download Fallout 76, and that was just because I googled and what was the most recent one.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't played that one.
And well, one, so it's twofold as far as 76 in particular.
Okay.
But one, I'm only like 3 hours in, but I've really enjoyed those 3 hours a
Oh,
lot.
nice.
That
a
makes
lot.
me happy.
And I feel like the show gave me a different context or a different lens that I could put on the game
Yeah.
that's making me enjoy it in a different way that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Like you can relate to the Vaulters, or like what is?
Yeah,
your-
a little bit. Or
Okay.
like you kind of get, I feel like the show really nailed the intention. Sorry. The intention of the creative director that like
Yeah.
never resonated with me in the like with just the games.
Well, I get it because you don't see your crew. Like it's just you.
Yeah.
When
It
you're
felt
playing
like a
the
very
game.
lonely game. And
Yeah.
also it's like the mutants are kind of scary.
Yeah.
And the rotting flesh guys are kind of ghouls are kind of
Ghouls,
scary.
Yeah.
I don't like
but
scary
not,
games.
But they're not scary in the show.
No, it
which
totally
I love.
shifted my perspective of
Yeah.
that. So I'm really enjoying it, man. I can't wait to get back to it at some point. And then the other piece of 76 in particular is I know when that game came out, it was supposed to be essentially an MMO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And apparently they've done just a massive amount of work to make it feel like a true Fallout sequel,
Right,
in a lot of
yeah.
ways. And so, and I'm seeing that in the narrative, in the sort of main quest line that I've been on, and so I'm really enjoying. As somebody that doesn't like Fallout, I'm really enjoying it. And so, like, if you're watching the show and you're like, well, the show's really good, but I never liked the games, I recommend checking them out. I don't know, yeah, I like it.
That makes me happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Denver, regarding?
Yeah, so for me, it's very similar with the art direction has been my struggle, and it's not so much Fallout as a problem. It has been their rotation of games of how they typically, it's an Elder Scrolls game comes out, and then a Fallout game, and it's really hard in that cycle to go from the lush, really rich environments that you get out of an Elder Scrolls game, like, and then swap over to just
death.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get it.
everything's dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that would like just it's always been it's always a turnoff for me. Like I get real in like because I get sunk in on an RPG, the Elder Scrolls RPG, and then it's like now I got to shift to like the most depressing version of
Yeah.
that same engine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
That makes sense.
I think I'm learning about its quirky. I'm definitely discovering
yeah, it's
why
so
people
freaking
like
quirky.
it.
Yes.
And it's the show that got me there.
I hope it does the same for me.
Yeah.
Because I do enjoy like the riffs and the jokes and like everything that they're doing around it. But it's always been that hurdle of like what I'm doing in the alone time, getting to the next quest. So
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the show may fill that gap
Yeah.
for me.
It is a world building show for you. And I get
That's
like I
great.
didn't think of it
Yeah.
that way, but you're right because like you are alone. Like you aren't there with others. You don't get to understand what your people in your vault are like, but you do get to understand that in the show.
Yeah, you're out of the vault so fast.
Yeah.
in
Well,
the
and I
games.
didn't realize all the vaults were different and had different
Oh,
stuff
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, that's-
Spoiler, Chris.
Yeah.
It's the note.
I didn't know about this. I read that. I didn't,
okay.
yeah. But thank you for
That
calling
makes
me on
me
this.
happy. It's so good.
Yeah. On that note, so some good recommendations there. on that note, Den, where can people find you online?
Yeah, Twitter, or I guess now X.
We don't
just
say
Denver
that.
Coulson.
Twitter.
No, Denver Coulson
Yep.
on Twitter. No one says the other.
Coulson, like Agent Coulson from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Ooh,
Oh,
good.
that
good
was
callback.
badass.
At Denver Coulson on
Wow.
Twitter.
Yep.
Kim, how about you?
Please don't follow me.
Never gets old.
Great. Easy. Done.
Why don't you want people to follow you?
I don't. No, thank you. We don't need to get into it.
That could
Please
be
don't
the
follow
best
me.
way to get followed.
Oh no,
I know,
actually,
it's a challenge.
no, it's don't.
Find her on the
I'm
internet,
not
everybody.
fun. Don't. We're not doing that.
Okay.
I
it's
don't
too
exist
late.
online. Don't look for me.
Yeah. Well,
You're on a YouTube podcast.
Yeah.
You're on a podcast.
You can follow me at Bergs Makes Games on Insta, at Chris Bergman on Twitter. Although I've kind of there's not a lot.
Yeah, you don't do a lot there anymore.
left there. I don't
Yeah.
spend a lot of time there. And most importantly, follow at Gylee Games, Gyllee Games, on all platforms: Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all that good stuff. Please like and subscribe to this if you enjoyed it. It means a lot to us. Actually, it helps with the algorithm. We want to share our stories with you guys. And most importantly. So I said most importantly already. Whatever the most importantly is, the one that's like higher, like that one. Wishlist Rah Rah Boom on Steam,
Yes.
Yes,
Do
please,
that.
that.
and then buy it when it comes out.
Yes, definitely that.
Pretty
All right,
please.
this has been another Gylee and Friends. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great week.